Author's POV. There were sobs and grief making environment dangerously sad in the funeral. It seems like a silence before a big storm. We standing near his parents' cemetery, and a long tear left his eye. Anyone see him can easily say he was broken. Yes, the most hard and cruel son of Kim's, who hardly show any emotion, was broken. His parents, whom he loved the most in the entire world, were laying breathless in the cemetery. He couldn't protect them. His reason for happiness. He couldn't believe his parents left him so early. The grave was prepared, and now they were buried in the soil. Everyone left one by saying encouraging words to him, but he was standing there. He kneeled down in front of his parents' graves and started sobbing. He was crying like a 6-year-old kid. Mom, Dad, you can't do this to me. I'm alone. You promised me you'll always be with me, but you left. Sob. He cleared his tears, and a rage can be seen in his eyes. I promise, Mom, Dad, I will never spare the one who is responsible for your death. I will make her life a living hell. I promise. She have to pay for this. The bitch is gonna pay. He roared in anger when Jimin, his best friend, along with other friends, came forward. Jimin, let's go home. It's been hours. You are here in the graveyard. You haven't eaten anything since last 3 days, Joy. Yes, baby. You'll get sick, and it's going to be dark sooner. Let's go home. Sobin, let's go, Vi. He came forward and helped him getting up. On the way to home. There was pin-drop silence in the car. Jimin, Subin, and Joy was glancing at V because they knew he was broken. Suddenly, Jimin spoke. Jimin, V, before going back to home, you wanted to visit your name in the hospital? She's been through a lot lately, and she was asking repeatedly about you. I have received call from the doctor today, and he wanted to tell you something about her health. He was about to say further when Joy cutted his word. Joy, oh come on, Jimin. That bitch is the reason why Aunt Sia and Uncle Kim is not with us, and you are taking her side? By listening those words, we clenched his fist, and his jaw tightened, and a wave of rage snaked down in his blood. Jimin, shut up, Joy. It's not her fault that uncle and aunt died in that accident. Moreover, she is their daughter. You can't say something like that about her. He was petted once again by Joy. Joy, an adopted daughter. Jimin, whatever, but she's still V's responsibility after uncle and aunt died, as V's elder brother of her. He was about to say something when he once again cut it, but this time by V. That is not my sister, Jimin. Don't ever call her my sister again. She is responsible for my parents' death, and I will never spare her. I will make her life a living hell, he roared in anger. Jimin shocked at his words and asked in amusement. V, she was your angel, right? Remember you pampered her throughout 21 years of your life. Did you have any idea what is she going through right now? She has No more talking about the ugly. Jimin looked at him in disappointment and glanced at Joy, who was smirking, while Subin didn't care anything. He was in his own world. Jimin was about to tell him that his angel, aka Your Name, has lost her eyesight in the same accident where Aunt Sia and Uncle Kim died. But he stopped as he came to know sooner or later. Time skipped at hospital. Your Name was laying in the bed of hospital, hopeless, tired, and hurt. It's been 4 days since that accident happened and her life turned dark. She lost her everything, her mother, her father, and her sight. She desperately needed someone for emotional support, but suddenly she realized that mom and dad were the only relative in this world who actually cared and loved her. She was she was waiting for her bear to come and hug her as he always do when she needs some emotional support, but he didn't come. Whenever she asked from bodyguard and doctor, they don't reply her. She was hurt, heartbroken, and within 4 days without mom, and she was fed up from her life. She wanted to give up. Although doctors have said that her sight is not gone permanently, it will be back with a small surgery, which is a little expensive but not for Kim's. Everyone knew she is the daughter of Sia Kim, so it's not a problem for her to do a minor surgery. Time skipped 6 months later. Your Name's POV. Who knows the person who was once her best friend, her savior, and her inspiration will turn into a ruthless, arrogant, and dangerous bully. He left her when she needed him the most. One accident made their lives a living hell. One accident turned into a cruel, heartless devil. He was little shocked when he came to know about her sight, but soon he turned into a devil. Doctors informed him about her condition, asked him for operation, but as a guardian, he refused to sign. He forbade them by saying he wanted her operation through a best hospital of the world, so doctor kept quiet. But in fact, he decided not to pay for her surgery because according to him, she deserved it. I woke up with the chirping of birds and the sun shining on my face. I scoffed. Another day filled with darkness and loneliness. I opened my eyes, but it was of no use because, as always, I was met with darkness. I sighed and sat on my bed. I got up and with slowly step went to the bathroom to take a bath and get ready to go to the university. I can't see, but I lived at this place for 18 years. Fortunately, I don't need someone to help to roam around the mansion. I live here with my uncle and my best friend, or should I say ex-best friend. I was adopted daughter of Kim. When I was born, my parents died in accident. Aunt Sia was the best friend with my mother, so she adopted me. Fortunately, her family, dad Marco Kim and son Taehyung Kim, accepted me wholeheartedly. I was their sunshine, especially his, my bear, my friend V. He was my elder brother to whom I count up to, and I was his angel, his little pumpkin. He was my brother but took care of me more than mom and dad. There was only a three-year age gap between us. Still, it seems like he was way older than me, but one day he changed everything. When I was coming back from my school with mom and dad, our car got into an accident. Mom and dad died on the spot, but I survived losing my eyesight. That day was the worst day of my life. My best friend, changed. He started behaving cold toward me when I need him the most. He started bullying me, saying it was my fault that mom and dad died. I still remember the day he visited me in the hospital after mom's death. Flashback in a hospital. Hello, Miss Yone. How are you feeling now? Doctor asked in professional tone. I'm fine, sir. I nodded and replied softly. He started giving me prescriptions, but I was indulging in my own world. I held his hand and he stopped talking. I could sense the confusion on his face. Sir, it's been 2 months. I'm in the hospital and my brother hasn't visited me. Could you please call and tell him that I am not well? Please tell him I can't bear it anymore. I need him, please. I plead. But he was quiet. When the silence was long, I held his hands with both of my hands. My tears were flowing down when I heard him. Mr. John, you can leave. I heard his voice after 2 long months. I was shocked. I couldn't express my feelings. It was like I heard someone known for so long. I heard everyone was leaving the room. I was sobbing. I heard him came close to my bed. I wanted to hug him tight and beat the hell out of me. I wanted to count on him, as I always do. But something was strange. I wasn't able to stand up from my bed because of his behavior. I could sense he was cold toward me. Maybe I was exaggerating, but my sixth sense was warning me. T, soap, B, bear, tea bear. I extended my hands and couldn't feel anything. He was staring at me. I could feel it. T, I'm dying. I could hear his loud groan, and he said, when he came toward me, held me in his embrace tightly. I cried. I let out all my tears in his embrace, and he was just taking me in his embrace, patting my head. That's it. He wasn't saying anything. It wasn't normal. Usually, he could do anything to stop me crying. He couldn't see my tears, and now he was just sitting beside me. After some time, he took me from the bed and asked, could you walk? I nodded, and he placed me on the floor. Let's go, he said, and I was dragged out. I don't know where. His grip was so tight. I was confused when he stopped at some place. Author's POV. Looking at her confused face, he leaned near her ear and said, V, do you want to know where we are, sweetheart? He asked with a menacing tone and a sinister smirk on his face. She shook her head slowly and no word came out from her mouth. He leaned near her ear and whispered, we are in front of a maze, darling, he mused. Though she was confused, but the coldness in his voice confirmed one thing. This wasn't going to end good. Your name's POV. Maze? I thought I couldn't control my question. I asked him, what are we doing here? I mentally cursed myself for shuddering in hurt wildly inside my chest. He didn't reply. I waited for a reply but suddenly slap. Arthur's POV. Slap. He again slapped her on the same cheek, making her fall on her knees. She held her cheeks with trembling hands, and the tears she was holding on for so long, her sob and hiccups echoed the empty garden. Only her cries and his deep breath could be heard. He bent down on her level and held her open wild dog in his fist and stood up with a jerk, making her stand with him. She could feel her scalp burning. His hold was so tight that it felt her hairs will come out of her root. Her hands went to where he was holding her hairs. She held his hands and tried to loosen his grip by triggering her nails in the wrist, but it did not effect on him. He was far gone in a daze of punishing her brutally. The face of his dead parents came to his mind, and he held her hair more tight. A sharp cry left her already bruised lips. On the side of her cheek, a long red cut appeared. Her eyes closed. Even though it won't make a difference for her vision, because she couldn't see his face, but she could feel his intense stare on her. which was making her want to run for hills. Pierre, why are you doing this? It, it wasn't my fault that mom dad died. I am your sister. You can't. Before she could complete her sentence, his thunderous growl made her tremble and shut her mouth. Shut up. Just shut up. You are not my sister. Never would and never will be. And are you saying it's not your fault, huh? She didn't reply, just kept sobbing in his hold. He jerked her hair, making severe pain to shoot her head. Answer me, he growled near her face. With her mustered courage, she spoke. No, it's not. He took a deep breath to calm his anger down. According to him, it was her fault. He still remembers that just 2 days before the accident, his father got a threat from their enemies, saying that they would attack his weakness, and next day, your name had to win over to mom to come to her dance performance. We and his dad both tried to convince her to neither take mom with her or not go by herself, but your name being the stubborn being didn't comprehend with the situation. That evening, your name cried and Mrs. Kim couldn't see her crying. After all, she was like her own daughter, so she convinced Vi and her husband to let them go. But dad put a condition that they are only allowed if they allow him to go with him. And they, your name and mom, gladly accepted it. However, Vi had to go to basketball match, so he refused to go with them. Your name was on cloud nine, but little did she know that her stubbornness act will turn their happiness filled light dark. You remember? It was you who was stubborn to go to that shitty performance, he hissed. T-Bear, I fucking answer a yes or no, he asked in a menacing tone, which held a hidden threat to not to defy him. Yes, she answered. Good. Now I want answer in a yes or a no only. You got that? His voice is psychotic. She nodded. Slap. She was backhanded again. If only we wouldn't have been holding her hairs in his face, she would have fallen on the cemented floor. What did I say? I want an answer in yes or a no. He spoke, pressing on the last word. Yes. Her whole upper body till her shoulder were on fire with pain. Her face is red, sweaty. Good, he spoke, satisfied with her misery, broken state at his mercy. He left her hairs, letting them breathe for a while. She stood 2 steps back, but did not dare to run. She couldn't. She was blind. Moreover, she didn't want to add fuel and petrol to his already high anger. You were the one who was stubborn to go to that performance, yes or no? Yes, a sob left her mouth. He chuckled. You ruined everything. You destroyed my life. You destroyed us. She couldn't reply to anything, just standing there sobbing and crying. Me and Dad tried to make you understand, didn't we? Yes, but you didn't budge for that shitty topic of performance. Yes, me and Dad tried to make you understand that it wasn't safe, didn't we? Yes, you did. Still, you didn't understand. Yes. All the time, she was looking down, her fist clenched and tears falling down, soaking her breast, cheeks, making it burn with pain. He in instant moved forward and held her with her shoulder and tightened his grip on her shoulder, jerking them. Yes, exactly. We fucking tried everything, but you still didn't understand and convinced my mom to go with you. Why did you do this, your name? He shouted, breathing heavily, but didn't stop there and spoke. Your mom was the only one who was convinced us. You used her and convinced me and Dad unwantedly, and after that, you say it's not your fault? You still have the audacity to say that wasn't your fault? You were the one being abroad that day. One performance wouldn't have destroyed anything, your name, if you haven't gone there, but you didn't listen, he judged her harshly. But look where we are. With that one performance of yours, I lost my parents. Because of your one wish, my family broke. I broke from inside. His voice cracked in the end. What I am doing to you is not even half of the payment of my parents' death. You can fool world with this innocent face of yours. Your name, you get that, not me. Flashback ends. That was the last day we properly talked to each other. It's been 6 months and we were living in the huge villa like a stranger. There wasn't anything for me to do at home. I was blind. Taehyung resumed his college, and if everything was normal, I also would probably be in the first year of my college. I remember how excited I was to get admission in the college. Even Weber was the one who suggested that I got admission in his college so he could take care of me. Alas, everything was ruined by me. I have a feeling that I will be dead very soon. And to be honest, it would be a gift for me at that stage. How unlucky. I lost my biological parents in an accident, and now I lost my adopted parents as well. Not only this, I lost my friend and my dear sight. I'm a mess, lonely and loser. I wasn't allowed to go out. I haven't any friends, unfortunately. I never had one because I didn't need to. VBR was enough for me. Mom always suggested that I make friends, but I refused. That it was my biggest mistake. The only person who allowed me to talk was Mrs. Annie, a 50-year-old housemaid. She was a trusted employee and has worked here since my adoption, so I'm kind of attached to her. I sighed getting out of the shower. It felt good. I wrapped my bathrobe around myself and sat on the bed, waiting for Miss Annie to come and give me my clothes. Just then I heard that opening the door. I smiled, knowing who it was. Good morning, Miss Annie, I said softly. She was the head maid and very kind lady. I was brought out of my thoughts when I heard her wishing me back with a soft and sweet voice. A couple of minutes later, she kept my clothes on the bed and left to look after the preparation of breakfast. Taehyung's POV. Your name Manobang, the name I now hate the core. The person whom I loved the most. Yes, you heard me right. Loved. Yes, because I don't love her anymore. Forget about loving. I don't even like her presence. She's the first and the last person on the planet whom I discuss so fucking much. Because of her, I lost two of my most important persons in my life. My parents, my lifelines. The people I love more than anyone. They were the world to me. Only if that day your name would be alone in the car, everything today would have been fine. Well, I'm not wrong because only your name would have been injured that day. I mean, she just lost her eyesight, which we would have got back by operation, and everything would have been normal. But because of her stupidity, I lost my parents, and no way in the hell I'm going to leave her like that. And since that day they died, I decided to make her life a living hell, and I love to see her helpless under my mercy. Yes, somewhere in my heart I feel bad for doing all this. Looking at her crying face makes me want to stop doing all this to her. But then my parents' dead face come in front of me, and I wanted nothing but to choke her to death. How I remember those beautiful days when we were best friends. I remember when her parents died. I was there with her. I remember her crying her eyes out and her getting sick the other day. I was so worried at that time, but somewhere I was happy to know that she will be living with me at our mansion. I know she treated and thought of me as brother, but I never thought of her as my sister. I mean, she wasn't. I even decided to propose her to be my girlfriend when she entered college as a freshman. I brought her to my college to get admission. She was nervous as hell. We went to the college in my car, and I remember all the boys giving her lustful glance when we entered the college campus. Trust me when I say it took everything in me to not to tie every bastard with a rope and burn them alive. But things are different now. Not only different but opposite too. I used to love her and now I loathe her. I was her best friend and now I am her worst enemy. I was her dream, but now I am her worst nightmare. I started loving her, but she changed my love into hate. But one thing still hasn't changed and will never change. She was mine then too, and she is still mine and will be mine. The only thing is that I wanted to cherish her that time, and now I wanted to show her what hell looks like.